Neuroprotective effects of quercetin. Okay, neuroprotective effects of quercetin in Alzheimer's disease. Now, you'll remember that antipsychotics cause brain shrinkage, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, quercetin is a flavonoid with notable pharmacological effects and promising therapeutic potential. It is widely distributed among plants, found commonly in daily diets, predominantly in fruits and vegetables. Neuroprotection by quercetin has been reported in several in vitro studies. It has been shown to protect neurons from oxidative damage by reducing lipid peroxidation. In addition, it is to its antioxidant properties, it inhibits the fibril formation of amyloid beta plaques or amyloid beta proteins, which are what gunk up the brain. And if you ever heard of amyloidosis, I did a video on amyloidosis. It's also what causes amyloidosis. Essentially, Alzheimer's disease is believed to be amyloidosis concentrated in the brain and nervous system, whereas amyloidosis of the body, it can be kind of all throughout the body, so including the brain. Alzheimer's disease contributes to 80% of all dementia cases. So 60 to 80% of all dementia cases are thought to be Alzheimer's. Pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease is typically associated with accumulation of amyloid beta plaque aggregates and the hyperphosphorylation of tau proteins, leading to neurofibrillary tangles and synaptic dysfunction. Early studies led to the cholinergic deficit hypothesis of Alzheimer's disease, which states that a deficiency in acetylcholine is the main cause of the disease. In the pursuit of drugs that were able to restore acetylcholine levels, the first acetylcholinesterase. Now, what's funny is you could most likely restore acetylcholine by taking acetylcholine. The first acetylcholinesterase inhibitors were developed, including tacrine. Since then, other drugs in the same class have been pursued. Okay, current Alzheimer's disease therapy consists of cholinesterase inhibitors, N-methyl-D, blah, blah, blah. Phytochemicals are best known to reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, hypertension, diabetes, and cancers. Flavonoids are the most diverse group of the phytochemicals. Quercetin is one of the most potent antioxidants of plant origin and is one of the predominant flavonoids found more commonly in edible plants. It belongs to the flavonols class of flavonoids, representing a major class of polyphenols. The dietary intake of total flavonoids is estimated to be 200 to 350 milligrams per day, and the intake of quercetin 10 to 16 milligrams a day. The recommended dosage of quercetin as a dietary supplement is 1 gram a day. It exhibits numerous beneficial effects on human health, acting as an anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory, anti-infective, and psychostimulant agent. It also inhibits lipid peroxidation and platelet aggregation, and it stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis. Several studies have reported on neuroprotective effects of quercetin, both in vitro and in vivo models of neurodegenerative disorders such as cognitive impairment, ischemia, traumatic brain injury, Parkinson's disease, and Huntington's disease. The aim of the present review is to provide a summary of recent literature exploring the relationship between quercetin and cognitive performance. This is going over the chemistry of quercetin. You can read this on your own if you'd like. So, quercetin may also act as a pro-oxidant phytochemical by generating reactive oxygen species and reactive electrophilic quinine-type metabolites because of the presence of the catechol moiety in the B ring, yada yada yada. Sources. The name quercetin has been used since 1857. It is derived from the Latin quercetum, or oak. It is a flavonoid that is most commonly occurring in higher plants and in the glycosidal form, such as rutin. isoquercetin and hyperin. It can also be isolated in free form from leaf surfaces, fruits, and bud extracts. Plant families rich in quercetin are the Compositae, Passiflorae, Raminaceae, Solanaceae, onions, asparagus, red leaf lettuce, apples, capers, and berries contain relatively high concentrations of quercetin. The botanical sources of quercetin have been summarized in Table 1. So these are your botanical sources right here. Pharmacokinetic parameters of quercetin studies have revealed that the low bioavailability of quercetin limits its use for therapeutic purposes. If that were true, you wouldn't have the remarkable health impacts, the positive health impacts when you take quercetin. The other thing is, it has to do also with the interaction of quercetin with the microbiome, as I've talked about in previous videos. Quercetin metabolism, quercetin in pig. Okay, so bioavailability, metabolism, quercetin in pigs. Quercetin was administered to each animal. Yada yada yada. Quercetin, yada yada. Alzheimer's disease is mainly characterized by the accumulation of extracellular amyloid plaques, which are known as senile plaques. The amyloid plaques are associated with neuroinflammatory changes, as well as neurofibrillary tangles, affecting processes that are essential in maintaining neuronal health. Amyloid beta is produced by the sequential cleavage of amyloid, yada yada yada. Okay. Neuroinflammation is a hallmark in the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease. The innate immune cells of the brain are fast to respond to systemic events. Misfolded and aggregated proteins binding to pattern recognition receptors on systemic presentation of the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease. Neuroprotective efficacy of quercetin. The neuroprotective effects of quercetin have been extensively studied at low micromolar concentrations. It antagonizes cell toxicity by oxidative stress in neurons. It suppresses neuroinflammatory processes by downregulating pro-inflammatory cytokines while stimulating After absorption, quercetin metabolites are glucurated, methylated, or sulfated, and have been shown to afford neuroprotection. The neuroprotective efficacy of quercetin has been studied in both in vitro and in vivo models, meaning both in the dish and both in the body. A study using drug screening, blah, 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 because that's, I believe that's nematode worms with neuronal expression of human, blah, 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 concluded that isoquercetin improved motor functions in acute spinal cord injury. Quercetin has shown therapeutic efficacy in improving learning, memory, and cognitive function in Alzheimer's disease. So quercetin has been shown therapeutic. It's been shown to be therapeutic in improving learning, memory, and cognitive functions. Okay, so it was concluded that quercetin administered resulted in the inhibition of whatever that is, and using it. Okay. It also increased the expression of AMPK, which is the key cell regulator of energy and metabolism. Activated AMPK can decrease radical oxygen species generating by inhibiting the NADPH oxidase activity, or by increasing the antioxidant activity of enzymes such as superoxide dismutase 2 and coupling protein 2. The activation of AMPK also decreased amyloid beta deposition, regulating APP processing, yada yada yada. Inhibition So quercetin interferes with the formation of neurotoxic oligomeric amyloid beta species and displays fibril destabilizing effects. So essentially it's stopping the aggregation of these amyloid beta plaques, and it's stopping the neurotangles. Quercetin is also reported from in vitro and silico studies to inhibit beta secretase 1 blah, blah, enzyme activity through the formation of hydrogen bonds, yada yada yada. Okay, the inhibition of ACHE is one of the therapies most commonly pursued in the treatment of mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease. Okay, it's an enzyme that is responsible for the degradation of acetylcholine, and its inhibition results in increased acetylcholine levels, thus improving the cognitive symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. In vitro studies have shown that quercetin is a competitive inhibitor of ACHE, and blah, blah, blah. It inhibits both enzymes, yada, yada. Quercetin, Attenuation of oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is caused by the accumulation of radical oxygen species in cells and is an important factor in various neurodegenerative disorders. It is also the most common mechanism of age-related degenerative processes. So, remember this when people say they've disproven the antioxidant theory of aging, because some people have said that. No, they haven't. Oxidation is a primary factor in neurodegenerative disorders, and it's the most common mechanism in age-related degenerative processes. Attenuation of neuroinflammation by quercetin, reducing the neuroinflammatory events in microglia might afford a beneficial strategy for the prevention and progression of inflammatory-mediated neurodegenerative disorders. Quercetin has been reported to have anti-inflammatory actions and is a suitable candidate among phytochemicals for future studies on its efficacy to reverse neuroinflammation. Quercetin has already been shown to inhibit neuroinflammation by reducing nitric oxide production. Anti-Alzheimer's disease potential in vivo studies. The protective effects of a diet rich in polyphenols have been reported in several pathologic conditions such as cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, infections, cancers, and neurodegenerative disorders. It has been reported in several studies that quercetin exerts neuroprotective effects when administered in vivo. It protects neuronal cells from oxidative damage or oxidative stress induced by various chemicals and prevents hippocampal apoptosis. So it helps to stop the shrinkage of the hippocampus, which is thought to be a cause of PTSD. Quercetin improves memory, learning, and cognitive functions, and all these effects have been shown to be associated with its antioxidant properties. Conclusions. Quercetin is a flavonoid with notable pharmacological effects and promising therapeutic potential. It is widely distributed among plants and found commonly in our diet. It has beneficial properties against general mechanisms of Alzheimer's disease. It protects neuronal cells by attenuating yada yada yada. The anti-Alzheimer's disease properties of quercetin include the inhibition of amyloid beta aggregation and tau phosphorylation. It restores acetylcholine levels through the inhibition of hydrolysis of acetylcholine by reducing the enzyme that breaks it down. Okay, moving forward. So people might be saying, I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want to do anything crazy like take quercetin. That sounds scary. Okay, well, what about a multivitamin? A lot of people take multivitamins. A lot of people should be taking multivitamins that aren't taking multivitamins. Usually the people that need the multivitamin are the ones that aren't taking them, and the people that don't need the multivitamins are the ones that are taking them. But everybody could use a multivitamin. I'm not a doctor, not a nutritionist, yada, yada, yada. That's not medical advice. Cognitive aging is at the top, as a top health concern for older adults. Study methods, yada, yada, yada. Good nutrition, important for an aging brain. Now, people need to look up Bruce Ames and the triage theory of aging and disease. Though the researchers did not look at whether any specific component of the multivitamin supplement was linked to, it's probably a synergistic effect to the improvement in memory, the findings support growing evidence that nutrition is important for optimizing brain health. So, multivitamins, they help retard the aging of the brain. Or slow the aging of the brain. Retard probably isn't the best word I should be using there. So what are the cognitive benefits of vitamin C? So let's take a look here. So our brain is a power consumer of vitamin C. The vitamin that cuts your cold short. Brain concentrations of vitamin C are far greater than those in the rest of the body, and long after the body is depleted of the vitamin, the brain maintains its levels. That's partly because of the metabolic furnaces in neurons churn through glucose to power all your thoughts and feelings and movements. And as an antioxidant, the vitamin's job is to surrender electrons to neutralize rogue oxygen molecules, but vitamin C also does more, and some 80 years after its discovery, its additional roles are just coming to light. Chief among them are actions in the nervous system. Vitamin C plays a role in the differentiation and maturation of neurons and in the formation of myelin sheath that protects them and speeds impulse transmission, making the vitamin crucial for cognitive performance. It is a cofactor in the synthesis of several neurotransmitters. It's needed to convert dopamine to serotonin and modulates neurotransmitter release in nerve cells. And while it's long been known that the vitamin is a component of collagen, a stabilizing force for teeth, bones, and blood vessels, only now is its role in ensuring blood vessel integrity seen as a factor in cognitive capacity, especially as we age. In a recent review of 50 studies of vitamin C levels and cognitive function, all conducted between 1980 and January 2017, Australian researchers found a striking relationship between vitamin C status and mental function as measured by a well-established questionnaire. Okay. So, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the people with higher blood concentrations of vitamin C, so essentially people stayed cognitively intact that had higher blood concentrations of vitamin C. Severe vitamin C deficiency is known to cause scurvy, but scientists recognize that the human body needs far more than the minimal amount required to prevent the once common disease. So think about that. Does that sound like some of the things Linus Pauling has said? Maybe people should read Linus Pauling's books. Severe vitamin C deficiency can cause scurvy, but scientists recognize that the human body needs far more. So, does this sound like Linus Pauling? Scientists now recognize the body needs far more than what was minimally required to prevent the once common disease scurvy. Just how much is necessary to support all bodily functions is not clear. Complicating matters is the fact that the amount consumed does not always translate into adequate blood levels, and factors like smoking, toxin exposure from air pollution, and alcohol consumption make extra demands for the nutrient as they place the body under oxidative stress. Studies have shown that such conditions as fatigue, depression, and poor wound healing are consequences of inadequate vitamin C levels. So keep that in mind. Fatigue, depression, slow wound healing are consequences of inadequate levels of vitamin C in some cases. As little as 10 milligrams of vitamin C a day is needed to prevent scurvy. The RDA for adults is set at 90 milligrams a day for males, 75% a day for females, but vitamin C insufficiency is widespread. So keep this in mind. You have to learn about Bruce Ames, the triage theory of aging and disease. You have to learn about Linus Pauling and orthomolecular medicine. You got to learn about Abraham Hoffer and orthomolecular psychiatry. And you got to learn about the importance of vitamin C. You also learn about Joel Wallach. A major longitudinal study of midlife adults underway in New Zealand also found, as the Chalice study finds, that 62% of 50-year-olds from all income levels and more men than women have inadequate blood concentrations of vitamin C. That's probably because they don't like their vegetables. Almost all 93% are below the optimal blood saturation level for the nutrient. The researchers report that vitamin C status correlates with several markers of cognitive health as well as metabolic health. Higher blood levels of C were correlated with lower levels of cognitive impairment. Higher levels of C were correlated with lower levels of cognitive impairment. And even small increases in blood concentrations of the nutrient significantly reduce the odds of cognitive impairment. Those whose blood levels were below what the researchers believed is a minimum requirement for all functions had twice the likelihood of cognitive impairment as those who met it. Interestingly, rates of vitamin C inadequacy are higher in the United States than New Zealand, the researchers report in the Journal of Nutrient. Okay, so an array of studies suggests that day in and day out, over the long haul, vitamin C plays some role in preventing neural loss and typifies dementia. Although studies of the vitamin as a treatment have proved equivocal, researchers believe that it's long-term vitamin C status that matters. So it's not just here, take a big dose of vitamin C, it's the long-term status of vitamin C. Here, take a lot of vitamin C every day is the better option. Oxidative damage to the brain is pervasive in Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Oxidative stress activates an enzyme that cleaves beta amyloid for its precursor protein, accelerating amyloid production and setting the stage for its accumulation. Oxidative stress also impedes clearance of debris from the brain, so it's helping to clear the extracellular gunk from the brain, which promotes the buildup of toxins, setting off inflammatory, yada yada. Preserving brain function hinges on many factors, from physical exercise to stimulating activities to a fruit and vegetable-rich diet. A fruit and vegetable-rich diet, consuming substantial amounts of vitamin C, especially starting in young adulthood, is part of that equation. Male, this is recommended dietary allowance. It should be most likely higher. Males, 15 milligrams. Males and females, 4 to 8 years old, 25 milligrams. Males and females 9 to 13 years old, 45 milligrams. Males 14 years to 18 years, 75 milligrams. Females 14 to 18 years, 65 milligrams. Males 19 plus, 90 milligrams. Females 19 plus, 75 milligrams. That's absurd. That's absurd. So think about this. Most concentrated in the cerebral cortex, hippocampus, and amygdala. These are all parts of the brain associated with mental health issues. Okay, cofactor in the synthesis of neurotransmitters, helps convert norepinephrine from dopamine in brain cells, modulates release and reuptake of neurotransmitters, prevents neuronal overstimulation by glutamate, and helps maintain vascular function. The ABCs of C. Papayas and bell peppers are foods with the highest concentrations of vitamin C. Most plants and animals can produce vitamin C, but humans and other primates, along with bats and guinea pigs, cannot make or store it, require it in their diet. As a powerful antioxidant, vitamin C helps protect the body from toxins in the air. So it helps you protect you from air pollution, cigarette smoke. Smokers need more vitamin C than non-smokers. The collagen tissue supporting teeth, bone, and bones is made from vitamin C. Vitamin C is a cofactor for at least 8 enzymes involved in critical body processes. Vitamin C helps boost heme iron absorption from the gastrointestinal tract. The vitamin C is vital to the biosynthesis of carnitine, a major regulator of energy production from fat. Regular intake of vitamin C attenuates colds, shortening their duration and severity. High levels of vitamin C intake are linked to a lessened chance of developing eye cataracts and macular degeneration. Delayed wound healing may be a sign of vitamin C deficiency. Vitamin C is delicate and can be destroyed in the high temperatures generated by broiling, grilling, and frying foods. So remember, do not cook your food at high temperatures. This is where the microwave comes in, and this is where steaming and stuff comes in, okay? But also supplement. Body absorption of vitamin C depends on the dose, or a greater percentage of the nutrient is absorbed at lower doses. That's not really 100% true when it's been tested. Okay, moving forward. So this is a powerful protocol proven to reverse brain damage. This is about Daniel Amen, who's reversed brain damage or chronic traumatic encephalopathy in retired football players. So let's see what the program is. Why this research study, yada, yada, yada. So, the study of 100 active and retired NFL players, researchers found reduced brain blood flow and higher rates of depression, memory, and attention problems compared to the general population. Brain injuries also increase the risk of drug abuse. Lastly, another study reported that 96% of all former NFL players autopsied had, what do you call that? That's chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And then 79% of males who played football at any level also had this. But brain injuries and neurological damage don't just affect retired professional football players. Millions of people, including soldiers, suffer concussions every day. In addition, substance abusers also experience high levels of brain damage. Number 1, improve your diet. Improve your diet. Even after taking into account their large body frames, 48% of players in the study were overweight or obese. Keep that in mind. That's absurd. Okay? So they were encouraged to eat healthier and exercise regularly in order... This is just... You're going to find out that this is very much, like I said, the basic self-care that's recommended by the AMA, osteopaths, medical doctors, naturopaths, and chiropractors. It's everything you know you should be doing anyway, and you should just start doing it. So number 1, improve your diet and move regularly. Okay, just like the 8 laws of health. Lift weights 1 to 4 times per week, high-intensity interval training. You don't have to get this crazy with it. Eliminate alcohol entirely. Alcohol is a neurotoxin and wreaks havoc on the brain by raising cortisol levels, disrupting the blood-brain barrier, and increasing inflammation and oxidative stress. There are ways to protect your brain from alcohol, but you're better off just avoiding it. Get enough sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep was another key aspect in Dr. Amen's therapeutic protocol for NFL players because it's so important for brain health. Deep sleep has been shown to slow down cognitive decline, reduce cortisol levels, and promote the regeneration of myelin. This sleep supplement contains magnesium and a number of other natural compounds. I like to take my amino acids with magnesium at bedtime, before bed, with melatonin. Reduced brain inflammation with omega-3 fatty acids. Okay. Get enough of these vitamins and minerals. Get enough vitamins and minerals. Research shows that supplementing with B vitamins, vitamin C, and minerals can reduce stress, improve mental health, and increase cognitive performance. So Dr. Amen got NFL players in the study to take a high-potency multivitamin. Again, it's a multivitamin. You're not going crazy. So I regularly take minerals, B vitamins, and this supplement with vitamin C, yada, yada, yada. Enhance brain blood flow. Increasing blood flow in brains of retired NFL players, the main way he enhanced brain blood flow was by giving them ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba is a plant used in China, yada, yada, yada. Increase acetylcholine. Remember, we were just talking about quercetin, how quercetin increases acetylcholine. Okay, so you can huperzine A is a compound extracted from herbs, blah, 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 blah. But if you're taking quercetin, it's probably already doing that. Increase your antioxidants. We've already talked at length of this, but this is interesting. Alpha-lipoic acid and N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine is a modified form of the amino acid cysteine, a precursor of glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Reduce cortisol levels with phosphatidylserine, which is actually in soy lecithin and sunflower seed lecithin. Optimize important health markers. Obviously, get your weight under control, get your fasting glucose under control. This is going to happen if you're dieting, exercising, etc. Reduce homocysteine, B12, and folic acid can help you do that. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, that's only necessary for people that really need it. There's also side effects of hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Neurofeedback, you can meditate. You can meditate without the neurofeedback aspect, and it works too. Researchers used to believe that the brain could not heal, but that is wrong. Brain plasticity is possible. Okay, now moving forward. This is one of my Joel Wallach playlists. You can watch some of these videos. Some of them are different versions of the same lecture, but I highly recommend people watch these and understand them. And that's all for this video and this video series.